On a windy night, atop a desolate hill, stood a grand mansion that stood out against the darkened landscape. Known as the Curse of Harrow Hill, the decrepit edifice was feared by the villagers, who avoided getting close to the hill where its shadow loomed. Once a home to prosperous nobles, the mansion had been plagued by eerie occurrences for decades, with rumors of an unseen presence constantly taking hold of those who ventured near. The wind howled through the trees, adding to the eerie ambience as the moon cast long shadows. The village folk had long whispered about the malevolent aura that clung to the mansion, and its history was filled with tales of despair and woe. Many believed that the mansion was haunted by restless spirits or perhaps something even more sinister. As night descended, a lone figure could be seen approaching the imposing structure. Emily Hart, a seasoned investigator of the supernatural, had been drawn to the notorious mansion. With her flashlight cutting through the darkness, she stood before the mansion's imposing entrance, her heart pounding. Determined to uncover its secrets, Emily took a deep breath and pushed open the creaking door, its hinges protesting the movement as if warning her to turn back. Emily Hart, a paranormal investigator, arrived with an intense curiosity about the renowned cursed mansion, the haunting of Harrow Hill. She had faced numerous supernatural challenges before, but she sensed that the events of Harrow Hill would prove her most daunting yet. Standing before the entrance, she steeled herself to open the door and delve into the enigma. Inside, as Emily stepped forward, an eerie silence greeted her. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by faint whispers in the dark. One cautious step at a time, she moved toward the source of the sound, witnessing the apparition of a woman, her form ghostly, standing in the depths of the room. The woman wore a fleeting smile and seemed to be whispering something, although the words remained incomprehensible to Emily. As Emily stepped into the mansion, a chilling silence enveloped her. However, the silence was abruptly shattered by faint whispers that seemed to emerge from the shadows. With cautious steps, she advanced toward the source of the voice, discovering a ghostly figure of a woman standing at the far end of the room. The woman wore a melancholic smile and appeared to be whispering something, though the words remained incomprehensible to Emily. The dim light played tricks on the edges of the woman's form, casting an ethereal glow around her. Emily's heart raced as she tried to decipher the intent behind the woman's presence. The room felt colder, and a sense of unease settled deep within Emily's bones. The woman's spectral presence seemed to beckon, as if urging Emily to uncover the hidden secrets that the mansion held. Caught between curiosity and fear, Emily knew that the answers to the haunting might lie within these whispered messages from the other side. As Emily delved deeper into her investigation, she managed to gather testimonies from the villagers about the history of the mansion. According to their accounts, a family that once lived there had suddenly disappeared, and eerie phenomena began to occur frequently afterward. She also obtained information that an old diary was stored in the mansion's basement. Reading through the diary, Emily uncovered a terrifying truth. The diary revealed that the former residents had attempted to summon an otherworldly entity through dark rituals, leading to the malevolent presence that had taken hold of the mansion. This entity began to consume the souls of the family members one by one, spreading madness and fear. Emily was certain that this malevolent entity was the source of the curse haunting Harrow Hill. In the pages of the diary, a chilling tale unfurled. It recounted how the former residents had summoned an otherworldly entity through arcane rituals, inadvertently unleashing a malevolent force that infested the mansion. This entity, insatiable in its appetite for souls, had claimed the family one by one, replacing love with dread and joy with despair. The diary's words spoke of twisted shadows that danced through the halls, of anguished cries echoing in the night, and of a darkness that seeped into the very walls. Emily's fingers trembled as she read the entries, her mind trying to comprehend the horrors that had transpired within those walls. It was a story of desperation, of a family driven to madness by their own actions, and of an entity so vile that it defied human understanding. With a heavy heart, Emily realized that this malevolent force was the root cause of the haunting of Harrow Hill. Determined to confront this darkness, Emily vowed to find a way to confront the entity and break the curse that had plagued the mansion for generations. The weight of the knowledge she had gained sat heavily upon her, but her resolve burned brighter than ever. The battle against the malevolent entity was about to reach its climax, and Emily knew that the outcome would determine the fate of not just the mansion, but also her own sanity. With ancient incantations echoing through the room, Emily stood her ground, clutching the protective amulet in her trembling hand. The air grew thick with an eerie energy as shadows danced wildly, merging and dissipating like specters locked in a fearsome waltz. The malevolent entity emerged, a swirling mass of darkness and despair, its eyes glowing with a sinister light. Emily's voice shook but didn't falter as she recited the incantation, channeling her willpower and the amulet's protective aura. A battle of wills ensued, the room a maelstrom of eerie lights and shadows. The entity howled in rage, its form flickering as it fought against the binding forces Emily had summoned. Time seemed to stretch as Emily's strength wavered, the ancient words nearly escaping her lips. But a surge of determination coursed through her, bolstered by the memories of those who had suffered under the entity's curse. With a final, resolute utterance, the amulet's glow intensified, and a blinding light enveloped the room. When the brilliance faded, the room was still. The malevolent presence had been silenced, its power vanquished by Emily's unwavering resolve. Breathing heavily, Emily lowered her arm, her heart still pounding in the aftermath of the intense struggle. The room had been freed from the malevolent grip that had plagued it for so long, and the darkness that had loomed over Harrow Hill began to recede, replaced by a newfound sense of hope. After a prolonged battle, Emily managed to corner the malevolent entity. Armed with ancient incantations and a potent protective amulet, she confronted the entity within the room. The space transformed into a nightmarish battleground, with eerie lights and shadows intertwining in a sinister dance. Channeling all her strength and resolve, Emily recited the incantation while clutching the protective amulet tightly. The very air seemed charged with tension as the entity fought against its impending defeat. It writhed and screamed, its menacing form distorting as it struggled to resist the incantation's power. A blinding surge of energy erupted, enveloping both Emily and the entity in a dazzling glow. The struggle reached a crescendo before the entity let out a final, ear-piercing shriek. The amulet's light intensified, casting out the malevolent force from its host. As the light faded, the room was left in stillness once again. Emily stood, breathless and wearied but triumphant. The curse that had plagued Harrow Hill for generations was finally shattered. The malevolent entity's hold had been broken, and the ancient mansion was free from its haunting grip. After a long and arduous battle, Emily succeeded in cornering the cursed entity. The protective amulet she held suppressed its power, successfully confining the malevolent presence. The mansion momentarily glowed with an eerie light before settling back into silence. Following the lifting of the curse, Harrow Hill Manor regained its former tranquility. Though Emily left the scene, the toll of the prolonged struggle left its mark on her, carrying deep scars within her as she continued her life. Nevertheless, through her courage and determination, the curse of Harrow Hill finally came to an end. The mansion continued to carry its history even after the curse was broken. Villagers passed down the tale, and the estate retained its title as the Cursed Manor. However, thanks to Emily's valor and sacrifice, the malevolent entity was contained, allowing peace to return to the village once more.